whakatau mai rā. Whakatau mai rā kia mātou o Te Hira Pū-ao e. Tēnā tātou. Mā te mahi te kōrero e whakamārama. Ko tēnei te whakatau ki o Te Hira Pū-ao. Tō tātou nau kaupapa mō ngā rangatahi Taiao o te motu. Ko wai ahau, o tēnā tātou anō. Ko wai ahau, ko arihia Hoani Waaka tōku ingoa. Huri ahau no Ngāti Awa, no te whakatōhia, ngō ngai tai, no te whānau apa nui hoki. Ko au tētahi o ngā tuki mō Te Hira Pū-ao.
Mauri ora tātou e te whare, ko Puahaere Waaka tōku ingoa, he mokopuna tēnei, no rore o te mari o te kingitanga, Waikato o Ngāti Mahuta, taitanga maha ki Ngāti Rangi Wewehi me ngā mautere o te kuki airangi. And we are the mokopuna of the tupuna that the oppressor could not remove. We are childhood best friends. We didn't plan on becoming toki, directors, coordinators, manager, whatever you want to call it. Toki was given to us based on our personality trait. We're quite blunt.
One of the things that we were reflecting on the other day is that Pua and I didn't really like school growing up, and so we actually used to wag, and in order to wag, her dad would make us do his gardens. And so we've come to the conclusion that how we landed at Te Hira Pū-ao was doing the gardens to not go to school.
E mua i taku kōrero mo tēnei o ngā pikitia e whakaeria nei te paitū o te whare. He paki rehua ka whiua ki a koutou ki te maria. I've got a question, and it's going to challenge your thinking, and we're going to have a session at the end. And through this presentation, we're going to go through some kōrero wānanga that will allow you to come to a conclusion. The question is, how will you enable the kohanga reo generation of your iwi, your hapū, or your spaces to succeed? Ka pai? Again, how will you enable the kohanga reo generation of your iwi, your hapū, and your spaces to succeed? And at the end, I'll run around with the mic and Arihia will facilitate that session.
You get one sentence per table. One sentence. So scribble your things. We're going to try and be quick, Pahi. I can see you looking at me like, girl, we're already running late. Ka pai.
Okay, so no te matariki o te rātau hau mai ai ngā kaitiaki o te motu i runga i te reo karanga a Tina Parau. Luckily enough, both Arihia and I were able to facilitate that session. And through that session, we had illustrators sitting at the back, and we were just yarning. Kōrero, wānanga, giving our whakaro around what are the impacts that our Taiao face. Through that, we identified the inamata, the current state. And then we looked to the onamata, which was the problems we were facing, the barriers. And then we landed at anamata, well, those are our solutions. Through that, we created essentially what became our strategy for Te Hira Pū-ao. And so we're not going to make another one because we already did it. And then if we just go to the next slide. Ko te ingoa Te Hira Pū-ao I tapai nei tōku pāpā, e whakamārama ana I te hononga o te tangata ki te whenua. Ira tangata, ira whenua, mā tāmua ko te Taiao, mā tāmuri ko te tangata. Through the way that we live as Māori, we are always second. We are always second to our maunga, to our awa, to our whenua. And through that, we practice in certain ways that other cultures find really hard to understand. But we know that because we look at our whakapapa, we look at our pūrākau and our hitori. So ira tangata, ira maurangi, mā tāmua ko te Taiao, mā tāmuri ko te tangata, and then the name Te Hira Pū-ao came. He's got an English translation, but I'm not going to read it because it's just so much flash words and nah. And so I guess that leads into, well, what even is that? What is Te Hira Pū-ao? And I'm going to pass it over to Arihia and she can talk about that.
I think the beauty of Te Hira Pū-ao was that nobody actually knew what they were coming to. So one of the crazy things about Te Hira Pū-ao was that Te Hira Pū-ao was created in 20 days. So we had 400 people join us in Rotorua for a kaupapa that they knew was about the Taiao but didn't really know what it was about, and they had kind of seen some flickets of the speakers but didn't actually really know what they were coming to. And so the beauty of that was we created a movement, but the movement wasn't created by the hui, it was created by the participation and the way that people participated in the hui that turns it into something bigger than what we could ever actually have imagined. And from that came the kōrero, aihara a Te Hira Pū-ao I te hui noa, ko Te Hira Pū-ao tanga ke. And so from here, we are now Te Hira Pū-ao tanga, which is pretty cool. And I guess it was allowing people to participate in a space for Taiao in a way that was innately who they were as rangatahi and also in what they knew about Taiao. So you don't have to be a policy person. If you're a gardener, you're just as important as the next person. If you're a person that goes out on your water and does the tuna monitoring stuff, you're way up there. So it was looking at what are the different things that the Taiao needs. And so that's where we get this from. It's not necessarily the policy people and the lawyers all the time that we see, probably more in the corporate spaces. It's our people that are out in the ngahere. We've seen lots of uplift through the Jobs for Nature projects, and we had a lot of Jobs for Nature people come to this hui, but it was like a synergy of all the people that do great things in Taiao in different spaces coming to one place and just being able to participate and see what other people are up to. And if I could think about how it became a movement. On the last day, we were doing a bit of a purupuruaki and someone said, why don't we start a national seed bank for native species? And so we'll just start a mission through Te Hira Pū-ao and we'll send everyone out at a certain time of year to collect the native seeds that are in their particular ngahere. We'll bring them back in and then we'll just start a Te Hira Pū-ao native seed bank. And I think that speaks to the type of capability that exists inside this type of a movement. And it's all rangatahi, and I get it. Rangatahi is your stage, not your age. But in some cases, it is your age. And so if you're going to come, send your kids, please. The next Te Hira Pū-ao is going to give us an opportunity to create the Te Hira Pū-ao Declaration for Taiao. And I think that's kind of the next space that we're moving into is what do our rangatahi want to see for the Taiao that they're going to inherit. Why that's so important is we're creating space for them to be the proactive solution, not the ambulance at the end of the cliff when everything's kind of damaged. So yes, you all have an important role to play for us because you're holding the space so that we can build the proactive movement up from the ground and then come in and take over because we're all connected in this kind of space and it's all laid out for what we are trying to do. I guess in essence, we were talking about what is Te Hira Pū-ao, because everyone has their own definition of what Te Hira Pū-ao is to them. And that's the beautiful thing about it is we're not going to tell you what Te Hira Pū-ao is. You have to come in and experience it and work out what it is and what it means to you. But if we could kind of make it anything, it could potentially be the personification of Article 2 of Te Tiriti in terms of protection of taonga and the ownership of taonga and how rangatahi will hold the line and so no, we own the water. No, that's our maunga and we own it in the council speak or to the government people so that they know that this is it, we're holding the line, this is ours, you can't have it. And I think that's what we're trying to effectively build up is just get a bit of an activism thing going on. That's about it. So, because we didn't want to talk at you guys, we want you guys to tell us what you're going to do to create space for rangatahi. We're now going to throw the mic out and I'm just going to pick a table over. We'll start here with Pahia's table because you've been saying that you're rangatahi all week. We got your tono matua. Ka pai. Before I close, I want to talk about Tinder for Taiao because I was like, man, that was really quick. I forgot about something. So we have basically created the digital manifestation of Te Hira Pū-ao in an app. And so that's going to be launched after our next Te Hira Pū-ao, which is in Taranaki Waitara on the 28th of January to the 1st of February, where we're going to do the Te Hira Pū-ao Declaration for Taiao. We'll be launching the app. And the app creates an opportunity for us to connect people back, or Taiao practitioners back to their own iwi and hapū, to kind of profile what things are up to. We'll have a specific missions category, so you can if you wanted to start a seed bank, put in your mission, I want to start a seed bank, who's keen, and then you set it up as a mission so that we can start to create the ripple of Taiao through the Te Hira Pū-ao app. So I think we're just looking at the digital innovation of what that space might look like. It's really exciting, and the opportunity will be, for us to just maintain and create connections. The last point that I wanted to quickly make, and it was when you talked about trauma over there, one of the key things for Te Hira Pū-ao is making sure that the trauma of colonisation doesn't bleed down to the rangatahi. And so the opportunity to have a totally rangatahi-led kaupapa by rangatahi for rangatahi means that although we're aware of colonisation and we know that it's happened, we have the opportunity to focus our efforts on what the future looks like and not remain fixated on what the past traumas have created. And so I think that's one of kind of the critical things that we're trying to do. Heoi anō, thank you all for your kōrero.
Hei, whakakapinga mā tāua. E mihi ana ki te mana whenua nā rātou tātou I Banaki I te roanga o tēnei wiki. E kapo ake ana I te whakatau aki a tō tātou pāpā whareheo hui a Māori. Taurematia toau ina nahi, o watatia toa pōpō, whakapūmautia tō ināianei. Cherish your yesterday, dream your tomorrow, and live today. Nō reira, mihi ana kei te whare tēnā rā tātou katoa.
To anything that the Crown can touch, mana motuhake, especially and critically now, more than ever, for our Taiao. We have changed our mindsets continuously through the kai kōrero and the sharing of practical solutions by leaders for the lakes of Te Aroa Lakes Trust. Today we will all return to our iwi, our hapū, our whānau, and the buzz will remain hot. But as the days go by, our mindset will begin to move to the everyday thinking that we are used to. The solution is with us. Kei ngā iwi, kei ngā hapū, te mana. Kei ngā iwi, kei ngā hapū, te mātauranga. Kei ngā iwi, kei ngā hapū, te wā. Kia mau ki tō tātou Te Hira Pū-ao. This is our space. Ko tēnei te tuāpapa, and we can only get bigger and better from here. Kia ora.